evening, my friends, and welcome back to A Line in the Stars, and what I hope will be the second part of today's double feature, if rendering and YouTube processing cooperate. I'm Jordan, and I'm excited to bring you Stage 2 of the Fanhome Millennium Falcon build. In the previous episode, we built part of Stage 1, and before we get started with the next stage, I wanted to highlight the model magazine that came with the first shipment. Like the Eagle Moss Enterprise build, the Falcon comes with a magazine to highlight what you are about to spend a ton of money on. This one is a little bit more salesy than the Enterprise model, and I will highlight that here in a second. On the cover, we have a great cinematic shot of the Falcon model and the cockpit, which we built part of in the previous episode and was part of Stage 1. If this is an indication of what the paint on the model will be like, I'm excited to see what the whole thing will look like in the end. Here we have the centerfold of the magazine, which is just a poster folded like a map. This section talks a lot about what you'll be getting in each magazine and highlights that this is a one-to-one replica of the screen model from Episode 5. Lucasfilm and ILM spent a lot of time working on the physical model for The Empire Strikes Back, as the Falcon was used a lot for action sequences in the movie, and they wanted the model to both be as realistic as possible and as sturdy as possible. The thing that I think is fascinating is that they suggest you could add paint to further weather the model, even though the model itself will be fully painted. I don't know if I'll be going into doing that, but I do have an airbrush now, so we'll see. On the back of the poster magazine thing that they gave us is where it is a little salesy. I say that slightly in jest, as I do like that I will know the order in which the gifts will be sent. I have signed up for the premium subscription for both the Enterprise and the Falcon, and like the Enterprise, there are a bunch of gifts that you'll receive throughout the course of the build. Gifts, you pay for them, so I don't know that they're gifts, but they are little extras that come with the subscription. Anyways, here it highlights which gift you'll be getting in order of them being sent. I'm expecting to get the binder for the Falcon with the next shipment, which I'm excited about. For the Enterprise build, though, I have no idea what order everything is going to be coming in. It's not a big deal, and there's only a slight squibble on my part, but I do like that DeAgostini and Fanhome have learned from the Enterprise build and improved on it. With the premium package, I'm looking forward to getting the wall mount. I'm having some thoughts about where all of these models will be displayed right now, and knowing that I'll be able to simply mount the Falcon to the wall using a TV mount sounds amazing to me. Where the Enterprise is going to go, I have still no idea. One of the things that I love to see here are the details on what the finished model will be. The number that sticks out to me is 24 pounds. I knew that this was going to be a chunky boy, and it's no wonder why they're sending a TV mount to attach it to the wall. It will be 32 inches long and 23 inches wide with a height of 7.5 inches. That makes it to be about a 1 to 43 scale. In model work, I know that's a huge number. Outside of the Lego Millennium Falcon, I don't know if there's a bigger model out there of the Falcon. I'm curious to know. If anyone knows, please let me know in the comments below. And finally, before we get to Stage 2, here's a shot of the blueprint poster, which has a 1:2 diagram of the frame layout, of the top frame positioning, and the layout, amongst other things. Here you can see where we'll be installing the TF1 through TF4 top frame sections that we're about to build and where they are positioned on the finished model. I do love this. It helps give us a sense of the scale of this model. I'm curious if we'll be building the frame in order of the parts numbers. If what I've seen is any indication, this will be the way, with TFs 1 through 4 being in stages 1 and 2. Note the red lines on the blueprint. These will be where the stiffening ribs, horrible name by the way, will be placed at the top of the model. There are only 5 on the top of the Falcon's frame, but on the bottom there will be much more. I love that the blueprint poster was included. Such a cool reference tool that I'll be using for the life of this build. All right, so let's get to building, shall we? We are here at Stage 2. Read through the instructions pretty clearly, pretty thoroughly, and it seems like, we're going to be getting little bits and pieces, or kind of like with the Enterprise, you're going to get, the first couple stages are like an introduction. And here's what the build process might look like. Do you really want to spend your money on it? Because I'm kind of getting little bits and pieces. The big part that we're going to be building today is going to be the frame, to include also the 2 frame pieces that we had from the previous episode. And so, but beyond that, like, this is going to be the cockpit. Here's the piece the part that right here that this will connect to the front up here. Won't be connecting today, however, and then this is the translate that goes over the top of it. Here is the top part of the Millennium Falcon, and it's actually part of one of the pull-away sections, so we'll be able to look into the living section, which is super cool. But this, a lot like the cockpit, is not quite done. It's just like, here's the piece. And we'll be able to test fit the quad cannon into this, but that's kind of it. Along with the, what's this game? DeAgostini? Yeah, I remembered. The DeAgostini game table. This one is also just going to be putting a little piece of plastic on top of the die-cast piece, and that's about it. So a lot of this really is going to be just building the frame, and that's about it. I'm kind of curious to see what the next shipment's going to be like, what shipment 2 is going to have. I imagine that we're going to be building big sections of the frame with each piece as we go along, and I wonder if they're just going to be kind of giving us pieces and pieces and pieces, and I really hope not, because that's going to be a lot of little baggies and such for me to be keeping track of things. But hey, that's the beauty of this. We'll have to figure it out, right? So let's go ahead and turn it over and get started. I'm going to go ahead and do the test fitting first, just kind of get it out of the way. I'm not going to really follow the set forth instructions. I want to get to building the frame and finishing the episode that way. So let's go ahead and get this plastic piece off. I have accumulated quite a mass of trash from all of the projects over the weekend. It was kind of crazy. So let's go ahead and start with test fitting the cannon into this piece. And a lot like the ramp top, this is resin. But if you see here, there's pitting, there's gouging. The paint job on this is pretty amazing. It's dirty, it's pocked. The textures are actually a little bit different too, which is really, really cool. I don't really have a problem with resin modeling. Obviously, I did read the, as we went through in the previous part of this episode, this thing is going to weigh 24 pounds when everything is said and done. And so, the fact that this is resin is probably okay now that I really kind of think about it. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the turret piece here real quick. And it just says, you can fit it and test it, but that is about it. So I'm just going to go ahead and fit it into place. And then this is where this piece goes. And I'm not going to go ahead and fully fit it into place. It was very clear. Don't do that until you're ready. There's going to be several other pieces that are going to connect this, and so that's why these turret pieces are currently, like the cannons themselves, are, they're not quite fixed. They're not staying in place. And so, yeah, that's what this section is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. Now, we're going to go ahead and make the holo table real fast for the DeAgostini game. And I'm just going to go ahead and take that. And instead of fighting, I grabbed a pair of tweezers. Look at this. We're ready this time around. And even then, not exactly the easiest thing in the world to get this out. Okay, so there you go. Just a little table piece. Just a little decal. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take this. See if I can separate the back faster than I did on the last one. Oh, look at that. First shot. Love it. And let's see if my power of centering is any good. Well, it is. Right on the money. You can see the little controls there. I'll let it focus up. Yeah, Super cool. So this piece is now complete, this part of the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and set that off to the side. I'm going to have little baggies put together for all the different little pieces. And so let's go ahead and pull this back into play. And I'm going to go ahead and do the console. Like I said, I'm going to do all these quick little things first before we go on to be building the... Oh, look at that. Ah, getting better as I'm going. Yeah, we'll be doing the building of the frame as the main part of this section. So if you can see here on the back of the model, or on the back of this piece, this plastic piece here, it's got these 4 little dots. And on the back of the translite, okay, are also the same 4 dots. I'm curious if something is going to be put over the top of that, but I am also going to use that as a guiding point. Let's see if I can get this one without struggling. And translate is a little bit difficult to unstick, but okay. All right. Doing well here. I am going to attempt to line these pieces up properly if I can get this unstuck from my finger. And you'll have to excuse me as I use this and look up to the LED lights above my thing. I'm going to try to let you see what I'm doing here. I'm going to line up the lights. Line up the holes. There we go. Nice. Okay. So lined up. And yeah, I don't think my light's going to come through there. I don't think this is an actual translate, so that's totally cool. So, and there's the piece. All done. And we're going to go ahead and bust this bad boy out one more time. And where this attaches is actually going to be right here. They say don't like fully affix it, but I'm going to go ahead and actually do that. And so there's part of the console that's done. And to finish this section, I haven't had a chance to clean this part up yet. This is the next day, actually 2 days later. Yeah, so there's a whole reason for that. But yeah, so this is, if you're looking dead on, this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's going to look like from straight on side. Let that focus up here. I got to clean this up though to get it these tabs to line up, but that is the cockpit portion of this section of this stage being built. So stage 1 and 2 are kind of a combined package. I don't know how I'm going to label these things going forward. I seem to interchange and intermix what I'm calling things and what have you. So yeah, real professional like. So now we're going to get into the meat of the episode, and we're going to be taking these frame sections. So I'm going to go ahead, and this is TF. So TF stands for top frame, and then this is TF4, and then that would make this TF3. And then we're going to be bringing in the previous pieces here that we saw in the previous episode. I believe this is TF1 and 2. And we are going to be assembling all of these together. So I'm just going to go set them there. Go ahead and pull out these. And these are frame connector pieces. Okay. Focus up. Okay, we have 4s. And then we have 2s. And as I'm going to go ahead and put up on the screen here, this is what the screws, when I say in the last episode what the screw meanings are. And so the previous screws that we use to install the turret are going to be these screws here, which are brass, and they are the longest screws. These ones are going to be the black button screws, and these ones are going to be used to attach frame sections together, and so they're very small. Kind of very similar to the BM screws from the Enterprise D. So, as you can see here, in addition to those, you have a 3mm countersunk screw, side frame pieces. We have the silver self-tapping screws. They hold the whole panels to the framework. They have a 6mm brass self-tapping screw, and that's used to assemble the main hold, which is, going to be the pull away when we're able to pull away the top part of the ship so you can look into it. And then we have a 4mm self-tapping brass screw, and that's going to be to assemble the corridors. And so, yeah, it's interesting. There's just going to be really a lot of frame building and panel building, and there's not a whole lot of lights. And so, unlike the Enterprise, I imagine that this is going to be complex in different little ways. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this screw container. I'm just doing this with my teeth. I'm a real professional. Unlike the Enterprise, the the packaging does seem a little bit cheaper, but it is well thought out packaging, so I'm not going to complain. For these metal pieces here, I'm going to go ahead and put them in here, although they are not magnetic. I just want to keep everything together. And there were 3 of these, correct? Just want to make sure that, yep, we got 3 and 3. And then we're going to grab the 4 piece. I should have pre-done some of this, but there we go. It's kind of an unboxing at the same time as we're doing things. Okay, so assembling the hull frames, as you can see here, I'm going to go ahead and drop an image of the blueprint that came with this model, and the blueprint is super cool. I mean, obviously on the one side we have the full-size Millennium Falcon, as you can see here. And then here we have, specifically relating to this, is going to be the frame placement, and you can see where frames 1 through 4, TF1 through 4, are going to be placed on the model itself. And it's really cool. You're going to see a map of maybe how everything's being built. I don't know if we're going to go frame by frame by frame by frame, but it could very well be. And so that's super cool. Like, you can kind of see on, like, with the Enterprise, I'm not quite sure how it's going to be built. I kind of get a sense of like what the Millennium Falcon is going to look like. And so we're going to go ahead and start with frame sections 3 and 4. And what we're going to do is, I just want to make sure it looks like we're going to be building from underneath. Okay, and then, yep. Oh, it's cool. You can see here, it says TF3. And then TF4. Cool, that's awesome. I don't know why, but I really love that. So I just want to make sure, okay, so when we're building it, all of the connection pieces are going to be done from the underside. Okay, so we're going to start with TF1, which is going to be right here. And it looks like we are going to turn it over. We're going to grab A2, position it right here. Grab one of our screws. And then start screwing this piece in. So instead of just fighting with it, I'm going to go ahead and just start threading it. There we go. Yeah, that worked nicely. Now it says as we're installing these to just kind of set the screw. Wait till you're ready to, put the next frame piece in place before you fully tighten down the screw, which makes total sense. You don't want to do anything to bend the frame piece. Okay. And we're going to grab one of the 4s, and we're going to start down here and put that there and do a similar concept. So instead of fighting with these, I'm just going to grab them, affix them to the thing. The plate is going to be used more as a don't lose the screws thing. I do love it for that fact, and that's exactly why I picked it up. So, like that. Make sure it's not super tight. Okay, so those 2 pieces are on. Now I'm going to take TF2, which is going to be right there. I do love the fact that those are done like that. We are going to align it with this piece. And I see, there and there. All right, simple enough. So I'm going to grab my screw. I'm going to start here. And these are, you want to make sure that you're doing the wow, Jordan. You know better than this. You're doing the, back it off a little bit and then make sure it sets before we start doing anything. Although it doesn't seem like it's super necessary here. I just want to make sure that I'm not over screwing anything here. Now, I'll take this. Tighten that one down. Okay, I'm back. Girlfriend got home from work and proceeded to, we just started talking, and next thing you know, we're sitting on the patio and having a nice talk, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm recording an episode. So here we are, total professional here, but we're going to go ahead and finish up. I was attempting to screw that tiny screw into that big old hole when we were last together here, and so aim to do better. So yeah, I saw that and I was like, oop, nope, better fix that, and I kind of popped in and finished it real quick before sat down and started talking with her. Well, so we're just going to go ahead and get these into place, and once secured down, then you can go ahead and tighten the screws. Okay. Very cool. All right. So now we are going to go to the next page. We are going to, did I go too far? Okay, so 6 and 7. All right, so now we're going to take another 4-hole, or 4-hole, and a screw. I'm going to put it right here in this position. If you see color changing happening, it's because my monitor is on a rotation of 4 different pictures from one of my favorite games of all time, which is Firewatch. Wow. I'm going to put this in here first. I will learn little tricks and things like that to help make these model builds go smoothly as go along, but I do appreciate, the fact that I have to learn, and you, the audience, may not care so much, but I will strive to make it look as good as possible. So it's tightened down as much as it can be for the moment. Perfect. Okay. And then we're going to take one of the 2 pieces up here. I'll put that right there. So first, take the lesson that we learned from last time. Put it into there. Put it into either or of the sides. So it's now all one piece. And turn to match the facing. Screw it into place. Much better. Okay. Yeah. And now it's not wanting to cooperate. There we go. So make sure it's fully screwed in before you lackadaisically move on. Okay. Perfect. And it kind of has like a little, I don't know, right here in the corners, you can see there's a little slot where eventually everything's going to fix into place. So that we're not where everything's going to fix, and where these little plates affix into place. Okay. Now we're going to align with TF3, and same thing. I'm going to take the screw, get it onto the screwdriver, You'll probably hear a kitten crunching on food in the background because she doesn't know when to stop. Got two very getting fat kittens. We just got both of them fixed, and the vet warned us that they're going to eat and eat and eat, and so far that has proven to be true. Okay, so tighten these pieces down now that they're both affixed. We've had to limit their food intake for sure, and they really like to hit up my food dish for whatever reason. And it's right here, right next to where I record, but each kitten has to have their own territory. Both of them are kind of territorial, so. Okay, so there are those pieces put together. Now, we're going to take, is it a 4? Position E. What does it mean by position E? So position E is right here, so this is going to be a 4. Got it. Okay, so I'm going to turn this over. Grab one of the 4s. A screw. And for whatever reason, there we go. And I'll switch to blue. Okay. Once again, I love things that glow, and this is a thing that glows. So, is that correct? Which way, which way, which way? So I turn it over. Sorry, I just want to make sure I'm getting this in the correct position. Okay, so I do have that in the wrong position. I want to have it like that. So I'm going to go into this corner. So, going from this side, there we go. Now, take it. And then, of course, it's playtime because kittens just woke up. Normally, I would be recording in the evening or in the morning when they're a little bit quieter, but here we are. Okay. Now, back to our instructions. And then we're going to take a 2 and take it, and it goes like this, straight out. So, once again, same trick. Okay, just making sure I'm getting my positioning right. Yep, definitely going to hear kittens running around. Let me go back to my reference here. So, position F. It's going to go across. Okay, it's a good thing I checked that. I was going to go a different direction with it. So, it was affixed in there. We're going to take it right here. There's its home. Kind of cool to think that these are always going to be here. It's going to be really satisfying to fully build this when everything's have everything like fully built. And know that I built it. And it's a very intricate piece. Super cool. Okay. And drink water. Okay, so now we are going to take, it goes just like that. Okay, cool. Grab my screw. We're going to start right here, going in. And tighten that up a little bit. Not fully tightening it. It did say they left 2 extra screws, and I, for the Enterprise D, I have a box with a bunch of screws that are leftovers and what have you. I have the same box for this one. And coming up soon, we're going to have a episode where talk storage and all of that. And I'll let you know some of the things that I've done. I'll show you some of the things that I'm storing things in. It's kind of cool. Okay, so now all these pieces are now tight and firmly affixed in place. All right, so there is the frame. And to test fit, what we're going to do is we're going to turn it like this. And then this piece fits in just like this. And they say, you know, there's obviously more pieces that are going to go in. We don't have any of the proper screws for fixing this, but this is the ramp going. So when you look at it from the ramp comes down here, and that's where everybody runs in. And so, well, there we are. So that brings us to the end of stage 2. And I gotta say, the combination of resin and metal together really works for me. Quality, once again, like I said, I do have concerns, but we'll see kind of how, you know, as the bottle goes through and as we're building it to see, you know, how it all winds up panning out. But if it's already weighing 24 pounds with the resin, yeah, it's going to be a pretty significant piece. So here we are. Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching today. If you have any comments, please drop them in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe. And until we see each other again, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, evening, and morning, wherever you might be in this beautiful world. Until then, until we meet again, may the Force always be with you.